The 2020s have seen countless pop stars attempt to reinvent themselves, with some singles not just becoming flops, but altering the trajectory of their career. In this video, we'll look at 8 of the biggest career-ending singles of the 2020s so far. Think You the Shit Fart by Ice Spice. Ice Spice totally dominated 2023. Coming off the viral success of Munch, she became a real star. She was involved with hit after hit, like Princess Diana with Nicki Minaj and a collaboration with Taylor Swift on the Karma remix, scoring multiple top 10 hits in the year. Her reputation was growing, but when Think You the Shit Fart dropped in the beginning of 2024, it seemed like she went too far into the meme song territory. The rollout had hype, snippets were circulating on TikTok for weeks, and the single was marketed as her comeback. However, what followed was the song being ridiculed online. It was so lazy and unserious that it felt like a parody, not a real song. It was supposed to be a diss against Latto, with some lines that applied to her, but it totally failed. Even though it managed to peak at number 37 on the Billboard Hot 100, it started a storm. The backlash snowballed into think pieces, and her reputation as a trend rapper whose 15 minutes were up began to take hold. Even the music video was mocked online, further damaging her credibility. Then she released her debut album Y2K in mid-2024, and it flopped, selling just 28,000 units in its first week. Ice Spice's once unstoppable momentum started going downhill after that. Think You the Shit Fart ultimately became a cautionary tale about how virality alone cannot sustain a career. It showed that Ice Spice's repetitive sound was getting old pretty quick. The single's failure marked a turning point, that it all started going downhill, and she hasn't been able to recover. Mother by Meghan Trainor. When Meghan Trainor released Mother in 2023, it was meant to be a follow-up to the viral resurgence of her earlier hit Made You Look, with a glassy doo-wop inspired production and retro aesthetic reminiscent of her 2014 debut title. She really wanted to go viral on TikTok. It succeeded on the app, and the music video was somehow well received, but the song itself was labeled one of the worst releases of the year. Fans expected a bold comeback moment from her, but that didn't quite happen. Mother turned from a potential viral hit to an internet punchline. It sounded very cringe and out of touch. I mean, nobody called Meghan Trainor Mother. The attempt to use an internet pop stand term to get attention didn't work. The single peaked at number 22 in the UK, but wasn't able to chart at all on the Billboard Hot 100, failing to gain traction beyond being a TikTok meme. In the aftermath, Meghan's reputation as a pop force weakened significantly. Her next album, Timeless, came out in 2024 and flopped, making the single a turning point for the worse in her career. Hot Shower by Chance the Rapper. When Chance the Rapper dropped Hot Shower in 2019, it was supposed to be the lead to his highly anticipated debut studio album, The Big Day. The song was meant to fit into that DaBaby sound that was popping around that time, complete with the absurd music video. Chance was once seen as the next superstar in hip-hop when he won Best New Artist at the Grammys, following his mixtape The Coloring Book, and his marketable image made him one of the most loved rappers in the industry. Following his huge success, many expected his next era to take him to the next level. Instead, Hot Shower didn't connect. The song's repetitive hook, awkward flows, and nonsensical lyrics became an internet punchline. What was once intended as a fun, lighthearted flex song was contrary to his gospel aesthetics. The fallout from Hot Shower was immediate. Critics and fans began to question Chance's artistic direction, and when it came out, the album The Big Day was called one of the worst albums of the year. The single's lukewarm chart performance didn't help either, peaking modestly at number 58 on the Billboard Hot 100 and quickly losing traction. The once beloved rapper who had built his reputation slowly suddenly found himself the target of memes and a substantial hate train. In the years since, Chance disappeared from the spotlight, only dropping singles here and there. Despite releasing a great album, Starline, earlier this year, the stench left from Hot Shower and his debut album still lingers, and people didn't give it a chance at all. You can really pinpoint the moment the magic disappeared from Chance's career. Woman's World by Katy Perry. Katy Perry's return to music in 2024 was supposed to be her new era. After years away from the charts, she teased Woman's World as a feminist anthem. The single had a massive rollout, glossy teaser photos, TikTok snippets, and a high-budget music video that reignited excitement among her longtime fans. Unfortunately, when it finally dropped in July 2024, it was instantly hated. The song's surface-level lyrics, dated production, and overly literal message came across as tone deaf, leading to a wave of internet think pieces. The backlash was intense, with even her fans calling it the kind of pop empowerment anthem that should have stayed in 2014. The song's accompanying music video only added to the cringe. Despite all the talk, the song only reached number 63 on the Billboard Hot 100 and fell off completely the next week, a huge failure. Rather than reviving her image, the song became viral for the wrong reasons, turning her comeback moment into an internet punchline. The single was followed by her album 143, which got very negative reviews and became her weakest selling album ever. Woman's World marked a breaking point in Katie's career. After years of declining chart relevance, following Witness and Smile, it was her chance to reconnect with pop audiences, but the single proved that her once effective formula no longer works in this era. While Katie remains an icon with a huge catalog of hits, Woman's World finished off her transition from chart topper to nostalgia act. Act Bad by the City Girls. When City Girls teamed up with Diddy and Fabulous for Act Bad in 2023, it was marketed as a flashy summer anthem meant to re-establish the duo's dominance in female rap. The song came on the heels of Diddy's Love era, when he was parading around with Young Miami as her poppy. But instead of serving as a comeback, Act Bad became a turning point for the worse. It felt dated and uninspired, and the single failed to crack the Billboard Hot 100, barely making waves on streaming platforms, falling far below expectations. The song's failure was made worse by the controversy. Diddy's public image began to crumble after multiple lawsuits and abuse allegations that landed him in jail and quickly tainted anyone associated with him, including the City Girls. Meanwhile, JT and Young Miami's growing tension became public, with fans noticing the lack of unity in interviews and performances. By late 2023, their album Raw arrived and really flopped, debuting outside of the top 100 on the Billboard 200. The duo's momentum, which was once strong during hits like Act Up, was gone, and Act Bad became the symbol of their downfall. In retrospect, the single represents more than just a flop. The collaboration that was supposed to revive the City Girls' career instead made them appear out of touch with the changing landscape of female rap. With little follow-up success and their public breakup, Act Bad stands as a moment that the City Girls era ended. Can't Get Enough by Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez's 2024 single Can't Get Enough was seen as a major movement, her musical return after years of focusing on acting and branding ventures. Serving as the lead single from her long-delayed album This Is Me Now, the song was meant to recapture the romantic essence of her early 2000s hits, coinciding with her renewed relationship and marriage to Ben Affleck. The rollout was extensive, including a high-budget music video and a film on Amazon Prime. On paper, it had all the makings of a comeback, but the public didn't connect with it. Despite her star power, Can't Get Enough failed to gain traction. The song debuted with modest streaming numbers and missed the Billboard Hot 100 entirely, a surprising outcome for a rollout of that scale. Even though she released a remix with Latto, which did slightly better, the song didn't fit in this era of pop music. In the aftermath, the album This Is Me Now flopped, and J-Lo cancelled her planned tour. Amid reports of poor ticket sales, the narrative quickly shifted to pop veterans struggling to stay relevant in this era. While she continues to maintain her icon status, Can't Get Enough effectively signaled the end of her viability as a charting pop act. Soul Train by YBN Nahmir. When YBN Nahmir released Soul Train in March 2021, it was a big risk, and the reaction was brutal. Known for energetic tracks like Rubbing Off the Paint and Bounced Out With That, he really switched it up on the song, attempting to get into his melodic singing vibe, but it was poorly executed. What fans heard was an off-key, awkwardly written ballad that instantly became a meme. It was widely mocked on social media, being called one of the worst songs of the year. It is one of the most ridiculed rap singles of the decade. Despite the backlash, Soul Train gained attention, even if it was for the wrong reasons. Reaction videos flooded YouTube, and the song became a running joke among hip-hop fans. The public perception shifted from Nahmir being an exciting young rapper to becoming a joke, and his credibility took a hit that he never recovered from. In the aftermath, YBN Nahmir's career was dead. His debut album Vigilant, released around the same time, barely made an impact, not even charting on the Billboard 200. He hasn't been active since then, as his last new music release came back in 2021. Trolls by 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj. Released in June 2020, Trolls was supposed to be a big moment for 6ix9ine's post-prison comeback. The controversial rapper teamed up once again with Nicki Minaj after their 2018 hit Fifi, hoping lightning would strike twice. On paper, The song had everything and the momentum that made it a spectacle. 6ix9ine's return to the spotlight after he came out of prison got a lot of attention, but the reality was far less impressive. The song debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, but collapsed to number 34 in its second week, breaking the record for the biggest drop from number 1 in chart history. Trolls became emblematic of the fatigue surrounding 6ix9ine's antics. His shock-based marketing and constant trolling no longer worked, despite Nicki's fan base boosting initial sales. It was one of the worst number 1 singles ever. It felt like a desperate attempt to recreate a past hit. For both artists, Trolls had consequences. Nicki faced criticism for associating with 6ix9ine at the height of his controversies, but for 6ix9ine, the damage was career-defining. He never recovered after that, as it was the final chapter in his brief but chaotic reign at the top of rap. Which career-ending singles of the 2020s did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.